All right, beautiful people. Grand Rising, Uncle JB. Uncle Nathaniel, peaceful greetings, peaceful greetings. Let me grab my stuff. Let me tell y'all, I have got to do better. Let me get my pen. I never cease to amaze myself. And no matter how early I get up, I still find my way making it here, just barely getting in at the time I said I'm gonna be here. Let me say, because I've been up since 4, right? I got this problem with stuffing as much stuff as I absolutely can in my early morning hours when the whole house is still asleep, that I find myself running over my allotted time to do these things and still find myself being late. Right here in my own house. Right here in my own house. I gotta cut out some of the stuff that I be trying to do first thing in the morning. Like, it's ridiculous. This is really a problem for me. I'm really working on it. I need to hire some maid servants. Take care of some of the stuff I be trying to do. All right, y'all. Well, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. It is March the 27th, 2022, day 66 of year 4 of reading through the books of the law and the prophets, another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1084. Today, we're going to finish up tablet S in the complete Annunaki Bible on page 300. And possibly we'll go ahead and get to chapter 31 in my big toe. I'm going to put it here in my big toe. Like, we're going to read it. It's really short, chapter 31. No, wait. No, I'm sorry. We got to finish reading chapter 31. Chapter 31. It's like, I think it was like 4 pages left. Page 269. Yeah, let's see if we can finish that up so we can get the book done. All right, y'all. Father, help us, sister, today. I be wasting too much time in the morning. But help us, all of us that are here, gathered again today to hear wisdom. Help us to apply all that we learn to our life on a daily basis. All right, y'all. Page 300, we paused at tablet 6. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, well, yeah, we might finish this today. It's 17 tablets in this second portion of this. Okay, but anyway, the title of this whole tablet S is the Saha series, Book of Saha, the Seer of Babylon. Zoe Betwabu, oh great spirit, our life force, guide us into our truth, into all truth. All right, y'all. Page 301, Saha series, tablet 7. Saha, a gray cloud creeps closer upon us, but it bears no rain. They do not produce a gentle shade. It obscures the light in totality. It displeases me to report that a driven darkness approaches for the coming times. The temples burst apart and overtake the kings. The people succumb to jealousy. Envy fuels hatred. Hatred feeds forces of evil, and everywhere war erupts. It displeases me to report that I see no beautiful light, for the light that will come swirled in confusion and chaos that confounds the people on the backs of slain servants of darkness. They will mix the light from the slain servants of darkness with wrong. And in brackets, it says notes, Notes. And the gray cloud pushes closer. They cluster together and darken the sky everywhere over the world. And then the majority of the people of earth no longer distinguish between black and white. Clueless, they confuse the natures of good and evil and blindly reel in their own delusions. But nothing is permanent, everything falls apart. I am pleased to report only one thing, that the seventh race of humans will rise again in the future, having first purged all souls of the people of the earth, when the truth that nothing is separate, all is one. The next tablet in the series is tablet 8. Saha, behold, Saha, I behold visions of angry faces that appear and melt away. They are not demons. They do not belong to worldly beings, but they do strangely belong to the earthly physical world. White flowers bloom where blue flowers bloomed once before. The plants are wrong. Disorder hides beneath the leaves to secretly multiply, and the signs become evident. Robert, Trina, Betwabu. The 10 kingdoms will come and go, Babylon and Assyria, the first and the greatest. The Aryan follows thereafter, and then of Egypt and Persia, and so on the lakefront, and then in the furthest eastward reach, then also the furthest western reach, and so on to the last empire. Later, 3 new dawns or ages will follow, but pass quickly and are not of the light. The vibration that leads to Babylon, the darkness extinguished the light again, and in return smothered itself. Levine, blessings. Nearly all of the heroes have fallen in the end. Flowers no longer bloom, just strangling vines for refueling. The desert becomes an empty, barren wasteland. In the branches of the trees squat carrion birds who have already eaten the owls, who have already eaten the pigeons that already ate the eagle. Strange gray animals spawn from the ground. They gnaw at the roots of the trees until they fall over, and with it, the carrion birds. The gray animals then kill and eat the birds. In deep recesses of the earth, a blood red animal with red eyes germinates. It grows quickly. The strange gray creature carries the strange gray creature carries him food until it matures. Eventually, it eats the creatures too. At once, there are no more empires of the world until the afterbirth, and these are sick from their conception, led by the blood red beast of the fields, hills. Warfare dissolves them. And verses 10 through 12 is not readable, and they have dot, dot, dot. Picks back up at verse 13. By the twilight shadow of the true kingdom, the red animal passes, and the vines die with the world because it can hold nothing more. Everywhere is heard a great crying, complaining, and whining. The people drown in chaos and disorder without an empire. Now they cherish the Son of the pure, white flower, and all happily submit to his reign in the new empire. Many evil demon spirits have been born, but at the edge of the light, the evil demon spirits melt away. The light remains. The next tablet in the Saha series is tablet 9, Saha to Nebuchadnezzar II. These, I'm sorry, three, yeah. It says 3 are 3 visions. I think it's supposed to say these are 3 visions. Okay. These are 3 visions that I want to share with you, each of them specific to a specific time. The first image shows you a new king. He lives on shores of the lake. His family is related by blood to us. He sends many ships. He shapes the land, such as has not been seen since the great Sargon the first. He is learned, and his gods are the same as ours. The higher the new king rises in the world, the greater the envy and hatred is forged against him. Gathering as a force, it descends upon him as a terrible fight. Eventually, the new king succumbs to the will of the majority. There is no trace of him, only secret knowledge remains. Another king now reigns as the first one of the world. It is not our blood and possesses no bright knowledge. The second vision that I will share with you shows many people praying, their minds blinded. They do not pray to the true God. They have concealed the once radiant light in their temples and inscribe falsehood on the sacred tablets of their faith. They bring the wrong sacrifice to the temple. Signs from the gods become absent. Prayer and sacrifice turns to greed and bloody warfare. Sound like the Christian reign, right? Okay. More people have been killed in the name of JC than anything. Okay, that's what that sounds like to me. I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying that's what it sounds like to me. I'll read it again. Verse 6. The second vision that I will share with you shows many people praying, their minds blinded. They do not pray to the true God. They have concealed the once radiant light in their temples and inscribed falsehoods on the sacred tablets of their faith. They bring the wrong sacrifice to the temple. Signs from the gods become absent. Prayer and sacrifice turns to greed and bloody warfare. Spirits turn sick and souls turn deformed, and their new gods feast on their flesh and drink their blood. I might have been right about this paragraph. It might have been Christians. Finally, the third vision shows how once again a new king rises in a distant future, and this one is of our blood. His name is Hope. After a period of peace, he perishes in war, and with him falls his name, Hope. The power of darkness overwhelms and takes over the world. The people make unclean temple sacrifices in their delusion. But the heirs of Babylon, Assyria, and Persia emerge. But the victory is far away. The new king is no more. Many of the heirs rise up suddenly like a comet. Their characters are realized, but the victory is far away. The new king is not there. I am also in the way of seeing a strange vision, something like a enormous glowing wheel, and its spokes are people with no gender that are attached together. They breathe selfishness and become sickly slaves to the wheel. I watch the enormous glowing wheel rolling over the ground, bringing fire and inflaming the lands and sea. An evil noise, horrible and senseless, alarms everyone at once, driving people into madness, increasing the intensity of chaos and confusion. The people no longer recognize each other. Remote is a new king. Yet another vision comes unbidden. I beheld the image of a beautiful golden goddess, and at first I thought it was a portrait of Ishtar, although it was not in her usual likeness. I took notice of a new king at the base of the Ishtar shrine, and a lot of people cheered him. As this Babylonian king makes a speech to his people, I almost thought a new Babylon was visible on the horizon, but I do not know if I will behold an image of time past or the future. But I do not know if I behold an image of time past or the future. I saw a bright sun shine on the city with a golden goddess. Radiance spread throughout the whole country and upon the sea and the mountains, and everywhere there was great happiness and resounding celebration. As the sunlight blessed the new Babylon, the light of peace, love, and unity spread far and wide among the people. The next tablet is tablet 10 in the Saha series. Saha, I see before me a star fire, light at the ends of the sky, the lid of the water jug opening up to a new dawn, marking the beginnings of the Aquarian age. A horror will befall all the servants of darkness and all their messengers. All their gold will melt to tears under the blinding radiance of New Babylon. Verse 3, it was undecipherable and it has dot, dot, dot. And it goes to verse 4. The righteous shall judge the unrighteous as the hour of The panthers will be against the dragon, the giant of the north against the desert worm. Hypocrites rise. The defendant is the plaintiff. Disorder turns to darkness. The darkness embeds deeply beneath the people's skin like a burrowing worm. The light of the righteous becomes distorted, a fractured crystal speculum. New Babylon will shine from the base of the mountain, and he who was the lowliest will be the new king of Babylon, the king of the new kingdom empire of a new age. The next tablet is tablet 11 of the Saha series. Saha. It is at the time a large flood over the high and once bright garden of the earth, and there will be no flood waters, but a breath of decay everywhere. From low gardens, swarms of greedy beetles come up to eat their larvae under the flowering trees. The flowers of the trees wither, including their leaves, and still gluttonous beetles come. They do not have thoughts. No fire is thrown in order to burn new larvae. Thus the trees, brushes, and grass fade away. Everything dried up. Everywhere things became bald. At meal times, many of the greedy beetles die. The inhabitants of the bright gardens also starve. The beetles outnumber the people and begin to feed on them. Humans, their thinking and understanding is lost by a flood of foul omens. They could have protected their children, but since they lost the ability of understanding, they did not do anything. The flood of decay in the bright gardens came before the flood of gluttonous beetles. In such a way, humans finally brought themselves their own bad end because they bore this fate. The first flood will come and pave the way for the second, at whose extinction stands. Then the beetles remaining in the lower gardens cease to thrive. Without the seeds of the trees from above, nothing prospers. This world dies, and people from different countries no longer know each other. Enmity arises as the world is dying everywhere. In despair, the very last ones slay themselves. This is the vision that I was given for the coming future. It is warning, not an inevitable fate. Cut the people off at the first flood. If your shot is amiss, know that you all are lost. In order that you might recognize it, I want to share images with you of the first coming flood, of which I spoke more specifically. These pictures are colorful, strange, and alien. They are left for the wise to interpret with understanding. A white bird circled over the sea in the proximity of the noble and pure world mountain. It does no harm and produces no anger. There are, however, numerous other birds, less noble and without the radiant whiteness, which envied the white one and flocked together against him, so it could not land and died of exhaustion and hunger, falling down from the clouds into the sky, into a grave of the sea, and soon no one ever knew that it had existed. The white bird drew its circles for a long time until its state of emergency forced it into battle against all of the others. More comrades gathered and seized the white one after they had previously forced him to starve, and there was again a lot of terrible struggles of the majority against the one. Finally, the white bird lay bleeding on the floor and could not fight back. Because he had not yet sunk into the sea and was therefore still seen by some of its white plumage, the others plucked him clean of the feathers and devoured its raw meat. Lindsay, Yah, Shalom, Shayla. That's Wabu, great rising. Now the white bird was no longer. Soon they learned he had been the leader of the starfire light, father of the white clouds of heaven. And from then on, it was no longer pure light, just still gray clouds, which stayed the rays of the sun and devoured their heat between heaven and earth. But the numerous unladen birds that had survived the long struggle now crying out aloud because it was cold and getting darker on the earth. And they said, the white bird had been killed for the debt of this, and so they perverted what was truth and denied the guilt of their actions. Time continued to pass. There came with the dark evil demon spirits who feel at home in the dark. But with this came the illness of the spirit and the end of understanding. For these dark demons are essentially unreal. They know no sorrow and no joy. They have no fear nor any other feelings. They lack all understanding and caring. Some have realized that the white bird had also been had also been a protective shield against the dark power. So the envious birds slaughtered the light that had come to protect against the darkness, and now they were all victims of the Lord of Shadows. And that was the end of that tablet. Next starts the Nebuchadnezzar Discourse Part 1, which is tablet 12 of the Saha series. Conversation between Saha and King Nebuchadnezzar II. Nebuchadnezzar, speak to me, Saha, about the systems of this world. To what course does time take? Saha, darkness shall cover the sky over the whole world of space and time. For the worshippers of the evil spirit who are not completely destroyed arise. They drill poisonous thorns into the bodies of the countries. The demon of evil they bring to your country, into your city of light. Sunset is approaching us because the darkness is strong in the world. Nebuchadnezzar, haven't I beaten the servants of darkness terribly, destroyed their places, burned the hell shrine, executed the priests and leaders, imprisoned their superiors? Saha, O king, what good is it to root out the poisonous plant from the flower beds if its seeds are not destroyed? Soon the day will come when you will no longer recognize the bed of your garden. The flowers will be stifled. Stalks of poisonous plants will but dominate. The light will go out through the dark shadows of the toxic stumps. This will feed the pith of the precious flowers, which are now overgrown, no longer see the strength giving rays of the sun. They are weakened and weakened again until the evil of darkness prevails almost completely. Nebuchadnezzar, I intensely engage with the emissaries of the dark spirit, but the king of Babylon is a righteous man, and he can show mercy to those who repent and renounce evil. Saha, O king, you hypocrites believe lies. Can thorns cease to sting? Can a poison stop being a poison? Can a lie not be a lie? O king, you love the good, and that's why you are looking for it. Your goodness hindered you in seeing the wickedness in full. Thus, goodness can be fooled, and the emissaries of the dark one bear much glamour, and you may have let many of them live. Whew. Nebuchadnezzar, my faithful Saha. Hold on, let me just say something real quick. Okay, so when I just read this, he said, "Oh King, sometimes good people can be fooled," but he pretty much said, "Sometimes y'all can be taken advantage of with your good heart." Right? We knew Nebuchadnezzar. He started off with shenanigans, but even when we read throughout the Torah, Nebuchadnezzar was a good Babylonian king, right? And y'all actually used him to enslave his people because his people was being hard-headed. So King Nebuchadnezzar, come on, go on here and get him. Remember that whole video we did when King Nebuchadnezzar, he went to the wise men. He's like, bring me the crystal ball and stuff. Who should I go destroy? Assyria? It was another one, or Jerusalem. Everything kept popping up Jerusalem. So every time Jerusalem popped up, he said, "Bring me some other magical thing that can tell me who I should go destroy. Take Jerusalem off. We don't want to go destroy them." But I think the Most High is telling me to go capture his city. But they can't be right because nobody ever wins who goes up against his people. So we're just gonna put that to the side. Should I go against Assyria, this other country, or Jerusalem? And it kept popping up Jerusalem, right? He said, "But listen, King, sometimes good-hearted people can be taken advantage of, right? Because we like to think the best of people, and sometimes people play on your good heart, right?" Let me read that again. I'll go back up to what King Nebuchadnezzar said. Nebuchadnezzar, I intensely engage with the emissaries of the dark spirit, but the king of Babylon, talking about himself, is a righteous man, and he can show mercy to those who repent and renounce evil. Saha, O king, you hypocrites believe lies. Can thorns cease to sting? Can a poison stop being a poison? Can a lie not be a lie? O king, you love the good, and that is why you are looking for it. Your goodness hindered you in seeing the wickedness in full. Thus, goodness can be fooled, and the emissaries of the dark one bear much glamour, and you may have let many of them live. Nebuchadnezzar. My faithful Saha, I am getting old, and my attention turns to the next world. In my campaigns, I have never praised myself, because after wisdom and brightness, my spirit always longed for me and for my people. The kingdom is powerful, and I will give the one who is coming after me a strong Babylonia, but the third Sargon first, I was not. Hold on, but the third Sargon, I was not. Saha. The third Sargon will come at a later time. He will destroy the servants of darkness and the seeds of darkness. He will uproot the evil by the roots. He will have no mercy for any single one of the enemies of light. He will spare none. He eradicates the sick souls of the worshippers of darkness. No trace will remain on earth. Terribly, the third Sargon will be against everything that is hindering the development of clear light. He will purify the world even out of 10, even, hold on, let me go back. He will purify the world. Even out of 10 people are killed. He wipes out everything that is wrong and everything that bears the mark of falsehood. And in brackets after falsehood, it says illusion. He will be ruthless to the darkness. He will take the slain bodies and build high pyramids and then burn them. The eternal order, divine right, excuse me. The eternal order, divine right, which had been lost, is restored, sent by the transmissions from heaven, Godhood, deity. You know, and I paused a second ago to start to tell y'all something, and I still didn't tell you because I started talking about Nebuchadnezzar in Jerusalem. Okay, so when I read this part up here, when Saha was telling him that the good are taken advantage of, I remember watching this one episode of Avatar, right? The animated, the cartoon with Aang. All right, so in this particular one, I believe it was I want to say it was the Fire Lord. I forget his name. It was the Fire Lord who was one of his biggest enemies. And as they were fighting, it was one of the biggest battles of Aang's life. And so when he went up against them, now mind you, Aang had learned how to harness the avatar state, right? And where he can wield not just one element of fire, or like the Fire King, or water, like the Water Nation, but the avatar can wield all the elements. They would be representative of like the messiahs, right, or the saviors, because they're the avatar. They can like do everything, right? You got all the powers of all the nations equally manifesting through one being, right? That's the avatar. But he had the power, right? They are literally considered like gods, right? um they were where Aang was fighting against the Fire Lord. Matter of fact, when I find, I'm gonna share it today. I gotta share this. Hold on. Let me put this up here. Aang, so y'all can see what I'm saying. And Fire Lord. If y'all like watching cartoons, it's like the anime, but it's a really good lesson in it. This is what I thought about when I came up here. So Aang, he always pretty much wanted to do what's right, right? If you know the whole story of Aang and the last Airbender, he never really wanted to be the Avatar. When he found out they were looking for like the Messiah or the Avatar that would come save them all, help them in all the struggles against the world, kind of like the whole story we get in religion, right? But when he found out, as his gifts began to manifest, when he took off and ran away, um, when he finally came back and he came to the realization, and matter of fact, when you watch that one, and I'm gonna share both of these. Okay, it was that one with meditation and the chakras, right? And so when it gets to, I think it was the heart chakra, where he had to think about everything. And when he ran away, and he had to come to the realization that he was the avatar, and he said he never wanted to be, right? Because I guess all this responsibility would now be his, and he never wanted that. He didn't choose to be the avatar. Destiny just chose it for him. And he what church would call it, running away from his calling, right? He was running away from his calling. But when he finally all right, I'm gonna just do this thing. This is what you created me to be. I'm gonna just do this thing. I'm gonna just develop my gifts, and I'm gonna be the avatar, and we're gonna do all what we need to do to bring everything back into balance. Okay, so I said all that just kind of give you a little background story. So what happened when he was fighting the Fire Lord? Remember how I told y'all, as you begin to develop in meditation, and some of your gifts may develop, you realize that you can do supernatural things, or cities may arise. It's kind of like the same thing what happens. And so you are able, right, as you mature, if you see somebody out there being rogue, as the avatar, you have the ability to bring it back into balance, right? So you can bring it back into balance, but you can also show them mercy, right? Which is at a point in this fight between Aang and the Fire Lord, Aang showed him mercy, right? And as he showed him mercy, he didn't kill him, right? He didn't want to kill him. They was like, well, in all this, you're gonna have to kill the Fire Lord, because his powers, you ain't can't nobody stop him but you. So you gonna have to deal with him. If not, he just gonna go on. He gonna be good for a little while. Then he gonna come start screwing with everybody again, right? So it's up to you, Aang, right? So he was fighting back and forth with the Fire Lord. And so at the end of the fight, Aang, he decided not to kill him, right? All right, that's enough. Go on about your business. Act like you got some sense now. Act like you got some sense, Fire Lord. So as Aang was going to walk away, Fire Lord act like he was going to do good. Then as soon as Aang turned his back, Fire Lord was going to try and get one up on him, right? It's kind of like shooting somebody in the back, right? Aang caught wind of what he was doing, and he didn't kill him, but what he did, he took his hand, put it right on his forehead, and he closed his third eye, right? He completely took his powers away because he just didn't want to do right, right? You want to be a rogue god here on earth, we're just going to go ahead and take your powers all the way away, and you can be a regular human again, right? So that's the ability that the avatars have, or the saviors have, to bring things back into balance. Not that we're gonna take your power, we're gonna take your power, you pissing me off, I'm gonna take your power too. No. Everybody needs the path to grow. You got to grow, learn how to do things, but don't purposely unjustly harm people or try to take advantage of them, right? Then the avatar has the ability and may come decide to close your eye, right? And that way you going out there and get a regular job. Go and do something else, because you you might need to start this class all the way over again. Maybe you try it again in another life, right? But here in this time, in this period, you're done, friend. You're done, right? So I thought about that when I was reading over this portion right here with Nebuchadnezzar, and Saha said, "Oh king, listen, the liar stopped lying, does poison cease to be poison," referring to those who are wicked, who are just wicked at the core. They're not going to change. They're wicked at the core. You have to completely stomp them out. Otherwise, you're going to continue having the weeds sprout up, right? So that's what you have to learn as being a righteous person. Righteous people and kings who rule and those who are in charge, sometimes you have to make those hard decisions that you really don't want to make, but it's the best for the overall kingdom. And sometimes some people just have to go. You just have to close people's eyes sometime, because it's just going to be a constant thorn in your back. And if you don't get it now, it's going to become a bigger problem later. Think about Queen Esther and what she had to go through because of the disobedience of King Saul, right? If King Saul had killed Haman, no, if King Saul had not let King I forget the king's name, if he hadn't let that king live, like y'all, when y'all told him, he said, when you go here, kill everything, right? Men, women, children, kill the cattle, slaughter everything moving, right? He didn't. He chose to keep the best cattle, and he decided to let the king live. But what King Saul didn't know was that during this period of time when he chose to let this enemy king live, this enemy king went and had sex with a woman, and she became pregnant. Hence, his lineage began to go on. Even though Samuel came in and he killed that king, he was like, "What is this bleating of sheep I hear in my ears?" Didn't y'all tell you to kill everything, right? King Saul couldn't see the forest for the trees in his face, not realizing the damage he would cause generations down the line, where now somebody else had to be raised up. Esther had to now stand up and do something to correct what King Saul had did previous generations with Haman trying to wipe out the entire nation of Israel, right? It's the same thing. Sometimes the righteous have to do hard things, and it may seem unjust to other people, but you have to do it to bring back the balance, right? Even though you can't see it right now. And a lot of people, the masses aren't privy to that information, right? But if the righteous aren't strong enough to make solid decisions, you are not fit to rule, right? Because you're going to eventually bring your kingdom to its knees yourself. You're going to be the one that destroys your own kingdom because you could not make that hard decision. Mom, shalom. So let me go back up to 9. Where we at? 35 minutes. Let me go back up. I'll read this again. Nebuchadnezzar, I intensely engage with the emissary. Oh, let me say something. Y'all don't have to. I'm not sure. Hold on. Let me look. Hold on. I saw somebody time Lindsay out. Okay. She might have did it by mistake. Alicia Yah. Lindsay Yah is cool. You ain't got to time him out. Boker Tove. Shalom. Lindsay Yah is cool. We vetted him. He good brethren. She might have did it by mistake. Okay. Sorry about that, Lindsay. Okay, let's go back. Nebuchadnezzar. I intensely engage with the emissaries of the dark spirit, but King of Babylon is a righteous man, and he can show mercy to those who repent and renounce evil. Sahab, O king, you hypocrites believed lies. Can thorns cease to sting? Can a poison stop being a poison? Can a lie not be a lie? O king, you love the good, and that's why you are looking for it. Your goodness hindered you in seeing the wickedness in full. Thus, goodness can be fooled, and the emissaries of the dark one bear much glamour, and you may have let many of them live. Nebuchadnezzar. My faithful Saha, I am getting old and my attention turns to the next world. In my campaigns, I have never praised myself because after wisdom, the brightness of my spirit always longed for me and for my people. The kingdom is powerful. I will give the one who was coming after me a strong Babylonia, but the third Sargon I was not. Saha. The third Sargon will come at a later time. He will destroy the servants of darkness and the seeds of darkness. He will uproot the evil by the roots. He will have no mercy for any single one of the enemies of light. He will spare none. He eradicates the sick souls, and of the worshippers of darkness, no trace will remain on the earth. Terribly, the third Sargon will be against everything that is hindering the development of the clear light. He will purify the world. Even out of 10 people are killed, he wipes out everything that is wrong and everything that bears the mark of falsehood or illusion. He will be ruthless to the darkness. He will take the slain bodies and build high pyramids and then burn them. Whew, that's what I'm talking about. The eternal order, divine right, which had been lost, is restored, sent by transmissions from heaven, godhood, deity. Nebuchadnezzar, O Saha, when will this be? Saha, from this day forward, as many years have passed since the first Sargon, the state of the earthly physical world will be bad. But in a period of the third part of a year, the messenger will have done his work. The northern state, from the northern state he will come, appearing suddenly upon the earth, living in the venomous world, systems that he will shake with one blow, and his power will be great. He will not ask. He is not a seeker like those who follow him. He will simply know. Jen, good morning. He will not ask. He is not a seeker like those who follow him. He will simply know. Then the third Sargon will be the light. The messenger and the third Sargon will light up the world. The righteous will wade in the blood of the slaughtered unjust. Until the work is done, the fires of destruction will burn from one end of the earth to the other. All alone, the true riches will remain. Nebuchadnezzar. But does New Babylonian, I'm sorry, I said Babylonian. But does New still saying it wrong. But does New Babylon come to exist? Saha. It will go down for a long time. It was only the third Sargon that will again build it in the North Country. There and then there would be a new Babylon. Excuse me. Nebuchadnezzar. Will the new Babylon survive the times? Saha. O king, it will exist and reign in the light for 1,000 years. And that was the end of the first part of the discourse with Nebuchadnezzar. This next tablet, which is tablet 13, is Nebuchadnezzar Discourse Part 2. Alazar Shalom. Nebuchadnezzar, tell me what you see. What will happen to the people? What will be of the kingdom? Saha, things will worsen, but nothing can avert it. It already takes its course. The way of the poison arrow, the way of the poison arrow circles the world. The sun darkens its light from Chaldea to the base of the midnight mountain, but humans do not notice it. They are dazzled by a light of falsehood, blinded by the reflection of fraudulently obtained gold. Many property owners, noblemen, fall. With cunning, many frauds rise in their stead. Maliciously, a horrible breath operates most of your thoughts. What is clear collapses. What is unclean thrives. What was below will be above, and good and evil trade places. The people will be drunk on confusion, and madness reigns over the world. Parents lose their children. Children disown their parents. No longer are the voices of the gods heard, except for the lone righteous who will count for nothing in that time. The nations will no longer know their meaning. Armies will fight against their commanders. Kings fall and temples turn to dust. Trash of ages resurfaces and debris reigns supreme. All worldly physical power will be in the clutches of the unworthy. This will reverse the world. Customs are no longer observed. Vice is considered elegant. Men will operate with impunity towards boys. Women will no longer want to be wives. But as men give themselves impunity, humans will mix themselves with animals. And with impunity, we witness hybrids, and the hybrids of hybrids will be in the streets of countless cities without any exterminating them. And the lowest will be evaluated to the supreme by the servants of the Dark One. The king interrupted the seer, shuddering. We see that now. Saha, first must come the bad, and then the even more terrible. That might be our title for the day. First must come the bad, and then the even more terrible. For the dark Lord will come upon the earth in human form. He will be worshipped by all the emissaries of evil. Previously, however, the evil must be significantly fun in the earth, physical world. All that is bad is regarded as good. Everything that is good is regarded as bad. This is the time we live, y'all. Humans will recognize no God. Gluttony and fornication, betrayal and deceit, these become their gods. They drink blood and wallow in slime. Sound terrible, right? Absolutely terrible, but absolutely familiar. Even if you're familiar with the Torah or with the New Testament, it all sound familiar. This is not new to us. I'm going to go back to 20. Humans will recognize no God. Gluttony and fornication, betrayal and deceit, these become their gods. They drink blood and wallow in slime. Terrible lies they call truth, and the truth is not in them, except in the desert waiting longingly for the third Sargon. And the third Sargon we would know to be as the Savior or the Messiah or the Avatar, right? The one who can flip the upside down world right side back up, right? Terrible lies they call truth. The truth is not in them, except in the desert, waiting longingly for the third Sargon. The first spark comes from the trampled ground of Chaldea. He will rise and fly, supported by fleeting clouds, the land of the north, closest to the sky. The third Sargon, from the battered earth, the liberator of avengers, arise. Yes, done it, Lindsay. Lands of the lonely righteous will stand up and form a huge storm that immediately strikes fire. Moving forward, it burns everywhere. Everything evil everywhere. I'll read that again. That's so good. Lands of the lonely righteous will stand up and form a huge storm that immediately strikes fire. Moving forward, it burns everywhere. Everything evil everywhere. Then the king raised both hands to the sky. Nebuchadnezzar, mighty they should be, the righteous and merciless. Saha, so it will be. The next tablet is tablet 14. And it is the Nebuchadnezzar Discourse Part 3. Y'all, and we're just going to finish reading through these discourses. We almost done. We got like 3 pages left. So that might be the end today. I might not even get to my big toe today either. This is just so good. It should just be left by itself. Okay. Tablet 14, the Nebuchadnezzar Discourse Part 3. The king went to Saha when he was old and tired and full of worries about his people and reign. Although Babylon was powerful and highly respected all over the world, the king felt that impending disaster threatening the future. Even his seer, Saha, had already predicted such. He went to inquire further. Nebuchadnezzar, my dear faithful Saha, tell me how it will be when the hour of light on the earth world. Hold on, let me go back. Dear faithful Saha, tell me how it will be when the hour of light on the earth world returns, if the times of the evil will be over and happy hours are spread out over my kingdom and the globe. Saha, since the victory of the righteous shall be first, the brave who persevere throughout all the shades of evil. Hold on, what? Since the victory of the righteous shall be first, the brave who persevered through all the shades of evil. It seems like it's missing something, but that's the end of that sentence. Okay. I'm going to read it again. I'm going to just keep going. Since the victory of the righteous shall be first, the brave who persevered through all the shades of evil. If the third Sargon will come and will have succeeded in battle, they will have victory against the prime majority. He is the avenger. His thundering over the earth with fiery chariots flashes until they are completely destroyed, dashing against the powers of darkness. After all of this, the earthly physical world will be cleansed of all evil and of all misery. Numerous small groups of people will then inhabit the earthly physical world, but it will be the best world, a new golden age, which lives and reigns as New Babylon. A tower will be built 7 times higher than our E. Timon Anki. How beautiful and wonderful the world will be. The earth will shine. Dispute will not happen again. Greed is no longer. Perversion and immorality is forgotten. Weapons are unnecessary. And you, my king, will look over the top of the mountains to see the meeting of the world beyond. Then you will embrace joy. Nebuchadnezzar, remotely distant is the time. Lonely are the brave and the righteous, but ever is Marduk with them. Tablet 15 of the Saha series, and it says Fragment A. Saha, let it be known, my visions were blessed by the divine god Marduk. At the top of the god mountain, Marduk reigns of this time. He sees bad omens. He cannot prevent this. It has been a long time coming. The shaft of his spear is stuck in the glass ceiling of the mountain. The midnight country is caught in distress. The bodies of fallen heroes rot at the foot of the holy mountain. An army of darkness approach from the west. Wild wallows approach from the east. The amount, hold on. An army of darkness approach from the west. Wild wallows approach from the east. The amount of the voiceless. Babylon is beyond saving. Assyria is no longer there to help. Alone and mourning, Marduk fixes his eyes upon the world from the mountain peaks. Lost is the home and gateway of the gods, Babylon. They no longer sing, they do not celebrate, yet they prepare for a fierce battle. And Ishtar also cries for her people. This sounds like Revelation, right? The fall of Babylon, right? He listens to the voice, sound of Ishtar, Lord Marduk, protector of the midnight mountain. Push your spear at the enemy. Deliver our people from evil. Marduk replied to her, Ishtar, how gladly would I do what you ask of me, but the people are to witness a crushed kingdom. Numberless is the power of our enemies. The new Sargon, the liberator, the avenger, is not among them yet. Ishtar looked at him and said, Marduk, see what has come up from below. That which dominates our earthly physical world and the people once came from above. We cannot tolerate upside down domination of the world any longer. I like that. That might be the title. I don't know. I got to decide between the titles today. There's so many good things. Okay. We cannot tolerate upside down domination of the world any longer. Marduk, plunge your spear. The one who can wield the spear will be the new Sargon. As Marduk pulled the spear out of the ground and threw it down as a force upon the world. And while Marduk did this, Ishtar told the stars to emit a new light, invisible. On earth, the spear of Marduk had its effect on the world. A new purpose he delivered to the people, a new weapon and passion. A new Sargon took stewardship of the people and soon took the spear of Marduk. A mighty struggle began until the bottom was defeated and increased was a mighty struggle began until the bottom was defeated and increased and was built at the top of New Babylon. Look for all this at the further time, and this will all be. Saha series tablet 16. Fragment B. This is a good day. That one is a bad day, and they are fanned into each other often as palm leaves. Think a healthy leaves and rotting what? Think a healthy leaves and rotting on the same branch. There are some typos here through this book. Hold on. I just got to figure it out. Okay, I think that's supposed to be there are healthy leaves and rotting ones on the same branch. Yet most are healthy, soon most will rot. Gift jumps over, decomposes quickly. What? Okay, that's what it says, gift, like present gift, GIFT. Gift jumps over, decomposes quickly. Evil is like a sharp knife that knows how to hide its form and can be wrapped in gold. A girl took it, held it for a sparkling comb, and before it knew it, 3 cubits hair fell down slain. Until it has grown, years will pass. Who bites the evil which receives severe wounds quickly, slow to heal again? For who is bitten by the evil like the girl whose hair length was? The string to include the vibration of the good ones are taken or weakened him. Difficult it is now to fight back against the evil. Take this as a no nonsense image. If you're strong, strength through you, the one who was attacked by the bite of evil, clueless, not everyone. That's what it says. It's a fragment. Fragment B. Okay. And the last little fragment is fragment C of the Saha series, and it's tablet 17. And it's literally 3 verses. The songs of the blessed, accompanied by harps, flutes, and drums, you can probably hear, so you listen to them. You can hear best if your will has the strength. Then you can leave this world and prepare for your crossing into other worlds and heed, all dead, you may meet there again, and they are young, and they dot dot dot. And that's where the fragment ends. And that's it. That's the end of tablet S, y'all. That was good. That was really good, right? Let me put this. Yeah, so we're gonna pause right here. We're at like the 54-minute mark, so we're not gonna go. We're not gonna read my big toe. We might get to it tomorrow. Y'all willing, right? We'll see. You know, I shouldn't. I'll leave tablet T alone. It's really short, but I'll leave it for tomorrow. I'll leave tablet T for tomorrow so we can read the rest of my big toe. Yeah, because I'm tempted to read it right now, but I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it alone because I'll probably get in here and start reading, and some kind of story gonna come to me because it's talking about the scribe, magician, priest, and so this gonna be real good. So I'm gonna just leave it for tomorrow. All right, beautiful people. Thank y'all for hanging out today. It is Sunday, March the 27th, 2022, day 66 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets under the 4-year consecutive day count. It is day 1084. We finished reading the rest of Tablet S in the complete Annunaki Bible on pages, starting at page 300 to page 312. And we didn't read any of my big toe, like I just said. All right, y'all. So I hope y'all enjoyed the reading for today. Like, that's it. I don't have anything else. So I'm gonna let y'all be. I mean, I'm right, Shayla. Right, it's Sunday. I mean, I could, but I'm not. I'm just gonna go ahead and log off. Go ahead and cook my family some breakfast and probably kick back for the rest of the day. Probably. Although I'm gonna end up probably working on some paperwork that I gotta get done, so might not rest so much. But I'm going to try to. But anyway, y'all, I love y'all. Father, thank you for another day. Thank you for the wisdom that is poured out unto us as we gather missing pieces of the puzzle. Help us to put the puzzle pieces in the right place. All right, beautiful people. I love y'all. And may y'all bless the work of your hands and all that you touch. May you be known like King Midas was known. Everything you touch, may it turn to gold. But not for your demise, for your blessing and for your growth only, right? All those things that are for your good fortune, right? Love y'all. See y'all back here tomorrow. Bright and early, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace. Bye, y'all. Shalom.